So for some time I've been meaning to buy something to drive components, because essentially it drives me mad when I can't test things. You can't always rely on this because it's a pile of crap. So I've got this unit now, and it's a bit complex looking, but I'm sure it's not as bad as what we think. So I bought myself this tool from TEMU, and I'm going to go through it now, and I'm just going to show you what I've got. So basically I've got myself a Swirl flat motor, I've got a coil and a spark plug, and I've got an EGR valve. But I've also got, thanks to my young mate today, an E60 knackered headlamp, but the stepper motor works. So we're going to do a stepper motor experiment, then we're going to do a coil and spark plug experiment. We're going to do the spark duration and the spark intensity, if it works, that is. It's an EGR valve, and we're going to do Swirl flat. So let's get into it, let's see if it works. Cost me 50 quid. Is it going to work? Looks good, but who knows? Should be interesting. So the first thing with this tool, as you can see, it's pretty goddamn well made actually, and I'm quite impressed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a stepper motor test. Now, a stepper motor is really, really easy, and I'm just going to show you how it works. So it comes with a little battery connector, and what we need to do is we need to go to mode, and we need to go to, if I remember rightly, stepper motor. Now I've got it all set up now, and there's the stepper motors, 2 B's and 2 A's. One's negative, one's positive. If you get it wrong, it won't damage out, but it just won't work. But here, let's have a look, let's see if it works. So this is the first experiment stepper motor. Oh. Well, that's working, isn't it? Bit of view there. So test 1, stepper motor actuator system. It works perfectly. Right, I think what we'll do next is, let's do the ignition coil next. We're going to just essentially take our positive, and we're going to whack it on there, and I'm going to set the old negative, which is the yellow one. This is the trigger. This is going to be responsible for the pulsing. And then the one I said at the end, which was the ground, we're going to now ground to terminal 3, I think, which is the top one there. And that's it essentially. So we're essentially kind of good to go. So what we need to do now is kind of put that in a bit of a safe space, make sure nothing touches, and then we want to do the last thing, which was to ground that, if you remember. We just ground that. Mode, we're going to go to ignition coil drive, frequency 10. Let's go it up a bit, it's a bit slower that. Let's do 16, and then we just do the pulse width modulation now. And in theory, that kind of should work, I'm guessing. Oh. And we can put the frequency up a bit. There, yes, maximum is 20 hertz, 20 times a second. So that works great, doesn't it? So, test number 2. It works and it fires spark plugs and coils, so we can take that as a good test for ignition coils. So yeah. Awesome. So that's 2 tests out of, let's say, another out of 4. Let's do 4 tests in total. Right, so our third one is this lovely Swirl flat controller, and there's 5 wires on this. Very simple. We have the red one is a positive connection, and the yellow one is a negative connection, and of course they will reverse polarity. There's a H bridge inside here. If you want to know what a H bridge is, it's an internal gearbox, and that's actually got evaluation electronics, and that's mainly responsible for the switching, which is why if you just put 12 volts and a ground on, you'll just swing it open fast. Dirty method. The other 3 wires, signal wire, 5 volt input, and of course a ground for the hall sensor what's inside it. Straight away the LED comes on and you can hear the motor. And we have a nice sweep there. And we can go down in little increments. Currently on the duty of 15.2%. Let's go down to 11%. Maybe we see a slight difference there. There we go. It worked, didn't it? So let's set that off. Right, the last one is the EGR valve. So this is our last test now. This is an EGR valve, and it's a very simple setup. The blue wire is negative, yellow is positive. The other 3 are essentially the signal wires for the hall sensor, which is the position sensor. 300 Hz seems a very good amount. Let's start to adjust it. Can't quite catch that. Let's just leave that like that. You can probably just hear that ignition, that EGR valve coming on there. and it's working fantastic. So let me just show you that. So that's working nicely. That's 27% duty. It's showing it ramping up, so let's ramp it up. So it's showing the current ramping up there as the duty cycle changes, and it's showing it ramping down as well, such as that, which is pretty goddamn funky actually, if you think about it. So yeah, it's a very useful tool in my eyes. I'm very impressed with it. It's a 12 volt system with a 5 volt sensor, so when we're at 0% duty, the hall sensor is showing just less than 0.2 of 1 volt. If we start going to 7%, it will start to catch up. When the valve starts to move, at 15%, as the valve actually starts to do its job and move, the value on the meter changes. So it's full of surprises, is this wonderful kit. So I just went to the voltage section, and there is a voltage just out and a ground, and of course I've got the fluke meter connected, and I'm very surprised I don't need my external power supply. I thought I could do this. So if I just turn this little dial here, it gives me infinitely variable voltage up to basically up to 12 volts essentially. So it's, well, in a sense it should go to 12 volts very slowly. If you go a bit fast, the pot sort of has a bit of an issue. So it'll go from 0 to 12 volts, which is fantastic. So you can actually use that to power the sensors in the hall sensors in anything really. So this is a signal generator, and I can actually adjust the output voltage. So let's say we want a nice 5 volt signal. That's kind of sensor amount, isn't it? Let's go to 5 volts, and we can change the frequency. I've got the scope hooked up now. We can now see what happens. It starts to generate a signal, a PWM signal, as you can see. That's a very wide signal, isn't it? Well, that's not bad, is it? A bit of a spike on the ground there, but not to worry. And then we can change, obviously, the time divisions. It's a bit better, isn't it? 200 USECs, there we are, 1 millisecond, etc. 500 USECs isn't so bad. We can change that to 1 volt, or we can go to 5 volts, get it a bit bigger. I think 2 volts is quite tidy. So let's have a play with it. Duty cycle there is changing. There we go. Wow. So we can literally see what the duty cycle looks like. And changing it like that. Pretty funky, isn't it? And all we need to do that is just to essentially operate these buttons here like that to change the duty. And we can change the voltage out as well just by turning that dial. That obviously increases the voltage or decreases the voltage, which is pretty goddamn funky, isn't it, if you think about it. So I'm doing a bit of overtime obviously because I have to do it after work. Can't do it in work time. What do I think of it? Well, I need to check a cooling fan. I've got one, but I've not really got the time for that at the moment because I need to get home. But for €50, I paid €50 for it. It was reduced from 75, and TEMU, they always give you these little discounts if you hang around for a couple of days in your shopping basket without buying it. So it cost me 50 quid, and it's fantastic. The quality's out of this world. Whether it lasts or not, that remains to be seen, but you know, on the whole, it's a bloody good tool. And it's going to be useful because what I can also do is I can check fuel injectors with it. So if we've got a leaking injector on, say, a diesel, which is a bit more tricky to see because it's, you know, in the cylinder, what I can do now is I can bolt them to the external part of the fuel rail. Then I can drive it with this because it's only a solenoid one. It won't do piezo's or anything, but it'll do solenoid ones. And we have a lot of them old solenoid injecting jobs coming in. Got one in a couple of days actually. I might try and do it then. So if I bolt it to rail and drive it, there should be sufficient enough sort of rail pressure after the engine's switched off just to show something. Maybe it'll just squirt out random. Even if there's 10 or 15 bar in it, it'll be enough to do something compared to a good one, won't it? A known good one. So we can do all that with it. We can drive not only cooling fans as well, but we can drive them internal blower motors as well. And not to mention now I can test EGR valves, any type of solenoid. For example, I was thinking what we can also do with this device is we can even get things, I had one lying around today somewhere, we can get like solenoids. I've got one here, look. So we can get like, that's an air conditioning swash plate solenoid. Well, we can drive that when it's on the car, and we can look at the refrigerant pressure if it raises or drops, because I had a job once where there was no control over that solenoid, and it would have been nice to have driven that. So the results that you can get from it are fantastic, and the applications essentially are endless. It's just down to your own imagination really, and obviously learning. So there you are. So that, I think, is a good 50 quid well spent. And what I will do is I'll do another video about that little current tester, what I've ended up buying. I bought a little current tester as well. And on the whole, yeah, it comes with quite a good few bags. It's got these instructions which are quite reasonable, some printed backup instructions. So yeah, it's pretty goddamn good. What I'll do now, just before I end this video, because I'm really happy with this, but I want to get going, I'll just show you how to identify the two phases of these motors, you know, these stepper motors for headlamps, what we did earlier on, because a lot of you might not know that. So I'll just show you because it's really straightforward. So you've got 4 wires on these stepper motors, and as you can see, I'm at these, so let's say that's pin 1 and 2, the blue's 3 and yellow's 4, so let's say that's 1 and 2. I've got a resistance measurement going on that now. As you can see, we've got a mega ohm value. Well, unless the motor's buggered, that's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because you're actually connected between phase 1 and phase 2. You're not connecting to one phase, positive and negative. So all you need to do is just try it again. So now we're on pin 1 and 3, so white and blue, and we're leaving the green out. As you can see, you've got 7 ohms. 7 ohms is more like what you should see. And we can do the same with the other now. So that means we know we've identified, in terms of driving that motor, that we need to, for example, on our little tool here, that could be B, couldn't it? So that means you would put the, say, the white one on the B with the yellow band on it, and the green one, sorry, the blue one would go on the red B. That would be positive and negative. So if you actually swap it around, we've got the same 7 ohms. So what we're on there, we're on the yellow and we're on the green, yellow and green. And I'll show you a little nifty diagram how that works. Here's our coils, as I said, the numbers are all different, don't worry about them. But what essentially would happen is, essentially, if you try to go from here to here, nothing's going to happen, because this is positive and negative, and you need to energize this coil here, same as this one. So if you went from there to there, there to there, it wouldn't work, would it? So you need to have the wires 1 to 2, 3 to 4. Of course, in our headlamp, it's like not really like that. It's wired up like where you jump one, but don't worry about that. And that's essentially how a stepper motor works. So you've got a coil each side. That's why you have the 4 wires, and that's why on this particular device it's got a dedicated output for stepper motor control. It comes with this little mini harness actually, which I kind of assembled. It comes unassembled, but I assembled it. And there is, as we saw, a stepper motor dedicated control. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to now tidy up my tools, and I'm going to shoot off to go and get some filters for our humidifier, because the wife's moaning about it. Actually, she's not. It's my job to do it. She just reminded me. So, please subscribe. I've had 100,000 views now in 28 days. Never had so many, probably because I've been doing so many videos. And if you like my videos, please share. I've had lots of shares, but we need more. I want to keep growing. I do want that little 100,000 subscriber, little silver thing. I mean, it's a long time off, probably a few years off, but it'll get there eventually. Until next time, lots more cool content coming. I'm doing as much as I can. And thanks for your wonderful feedback. Brilliant. Awesome. See you soon.